friends, hope you're having a lovely day today. I recently went on a couple of excursions, and I want to talk about a few of the interesting bits of those excursions. So first, today I drove up into the canyon with a GoPro on top of my car. I recently purchased a suction mount for my GoPro. These suction mounts are wonderful pieces of equipment for suctioning your GoPro to things, and that's why I bought it. While it is plastic, it's actually a nice beefy piece of equipment, and when you put it onto something, you get this sensation, this tactile sensation of that's on there. That is not going anywhere, and that's what I like. That's a good piece of gear. I decided to mount it on top of my car and drive up into the canyon. While I was out, I did sustain a casualty. I'm very sorry for the family of the flying insect that went into the little ridges of the GoPro mounting system. While I was up in the canyon, I came across a moose. It was the first moose I've ever seen in real life, and it was a very special experience. I named him or her, I'm assuming it's a her, there's no antlers. I named Mallory the moose. Okay, at this point, the moose has crossed the road. I have seen the moose, and I'm pulling off to try to get a closer look. The moose has wandered off to the left, up the hill, into the trees, and I'm thinking this may be the last time that I get to see the moose. So I pull around and to this gate and stop, and I'm thinking, oh, the moose is probably long gone at this point. But alas, the moose has yet another surprise. You can see the moose is coming from the left, walking across the guardrail, crossing the street. This is the closest I've been to the moose thus far. What a beautiful creature. In these sorts of situations, it is important to just be prepared for when these situations come around and move quick. Be very versatile and agile if you want to capture a photo of this thing, because mooses and I don't know, the elusive things in life are elusive. They will leave you very quickly, so be prepared. Boom, boom, boom. I was semi-prepared. I could have captured a fantastic shot of the moose going across the roadway, but I wasn't quite ready, and I missed it. So I captured a shot of it kind of walking down by the river. While I was out there, I ran into a guy who was also running to take a photo of the moose, and he was saying that mooses have meese have reputations as dangerous animals. And the guy that I ran into made the statement that he would rather run into a bear than a moose, that the moose scares him more. And that was telling. Mallory the moose seemed like a very kind moose, but she was going away. I think if maybe I would have cornered her, it could have been a different experience. I might have lost some skin and some limbs and a couple of organs potentially. Next, the other day I went out to a less populated part of the Salt Lake Valley, very beautiful part. It's named Magna, is the name of the town. Very intense, amazing name for like an industrial type town. One of the things I love out there is, one, the edge of the Salt Lake, the famous Great Salt Lake, is right next to Magna, and so you can go down by the Salt Lake, good times. But while I was there, I also took a photo of the fourth tallest, I geek out about these things, the fourth tallest smokestack on Earth. So I started taking photos of this enormous 1,215 foot tall tower, and one of the things I decided to do was put a small shack in the foreground, big tower in the background. So right now I'm trying, a lot of trains come through here, and I can hear one, but I can't see one, so I don't know where it's at. Oh, it's going the opposite direction over there. Here's a little train. So yeah, I'm going to try to snap an interesting shot here. I think I'm going to work in this shack. I'm going to shift over this way a little bit more, actually put it behind the put the shack right in front of the smokestack, if you will. It's a good idea to use elements like a shack or a human, if you will, like I always talk about, to create a sense of scale. If you're trying to portray something as large, it's good to put something that's small in front of that large thing. And in this case, the shack worked quite well. It also created a sense of depth between the shack and the tower, which is pleasing. And finally, I took a little trip out to the Salt Lake City International Airport. I have become quite the aviation enthusiast lately, and so it's a lot of fun to watch these enormous jets take off. Got a police officer back there eyeballing me. Oops, I forgot to close my door. So I got a police officer back there eyeballing me. Just taking a look. But what I'm doing is perfectly legal, assuming this gate is unlocked tonight. We may be past bike hours. Bike path hours. Open. So let's see what we're doing. We got February to October. Open 10 p.m. So it should be open. It looks like you should not be able to go through this gate. But alas, it is a bike path. Absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful out here tonight. Mountains in the distance. I love coming out here. It's so calm. It's amazing to think about all the power that the jet engines have to push to get that giant metal tube up in the air. This particular night, they happened to be taking off the opposite direction of the way that they normally take off. I don't know if this is due to wind direction, maybe they just got bored and wanted a challenge, I'm not sure. But this provided a fantastic opportunity to capture the planes taking off in very close proximity to me. If they were taking off the other way, the fence that is on the other side of the airport is much further away from the runway, so the shots would not have been as involved and close as these were. When I take photos of planes, I like to include ground elements in the shot to create depth and sort of anchor the image and give people a relationship of where things are in the shot, of course, scale and what have you. In this case, I was able to work in the runway towers in the foreground. Another thing I decided to do was, wow, that's a lot of wind. Oh my gosh, oh heavens, these trees are gonna break outside. Hold on. You guys take a look at this wind. It's not even raining, it's just windy. You crazy, Utah! Due to the circumstances, I decided to edit these photos in black and white, and I really like the effect it had on the end result. It's incredible watching jets take off. These are enormous flying metal tubes, and they're going hundreds of miles per hour. And when they were taking off that night in particular, they were making this hard right turn. It's crazy to watch a machine that big shift so quickly. It's incredible. So I was standing in an area that is called ILS, I think it's ILS critical, something like that. While I was out there, an officer of the law drove up and asked me if my car was the one that was parked over yonder, and then he proceeded to let me know that this was an ILS critical area.
Hi there, is that your car back there?
That is my car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this area right here, well, they're approaching from the north. You're fine. Well, normally we don't permit scanning. This is called the ILS critical area.
Okay, yeah.
So the ILS lighting system, we have since they're coming in from the north, we're fine. But if they were coming in from the south, you know, if they had to dump fuel or they dumped fuel and they blew up, you never know you were out here.
Sure.
Just keep your eyes open for another. Good, not me. Just keep your eyes open for other units coming around.
Sure.
Because they'll probably check your car.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Right.
it. Have a good night. He too took note of the fact that the planes were taking off in the opposite direction as opposed to landing overhead, and that seemed to ease the concern for him of me being there. He was a kind officer. He allowed me to go about my business, and I appreciate his friendliness. I have to say that the police are under a lot of scrutiny right now in these current times, and it is, I think, very important to film positive interactions with police as well. I think most police officers will provide you with positive interactions. There are a select few that will provide you with negative interactions. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I would love your engagement. I would be happy to engage back with you. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye. Let's hope the furiosity of the wind outside doesn't send a 2x4 through my kitchen.